Hi, everyone. I wanted to take a moment to talk about what it means to love very difficult people to love. You see, because I believe we live in a day and age where hate is abounding, it's increasing more and more. And the challenge is that for many, the love of many is growing cold. And really, in this day and age, our love needs to burn hotter than ever, but it's really challenging. And it's going to get more and more challenging for people to love at the level that is possible. And I really believe that God in His Word is calling us to go to a higher level and not withdraw our love, which is really what the definition of hate is. Hate means to love less. The moment we withdraw our love, the moment we begin to love less. So I want to talk about 3 ways to love difficult people. Because often what we do in relationships, when we're hurt or when people are acting even abusive, I've been doing a lot of teaching on spiritual abuse, healing from abusive situations. We often have to develop boundaries and space to heal. All of that is appropriate. I don't encourage people to just continually go into abusive environments and just take it and just keep getting punched and just keep getting hit. That's not what we're talking about here. We want to get you into a healthy space to heal. But the problem is we usually remain stuck there. We take a step of space to heal, but then we don't do anything to work on ourselves and let God heal us at a deeper dimension. And this is the place that I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to upgrade who you are in how you process love. Love is not something that is just only a mushy-gushy feeling. Love is who God is. It's a powerful relationship environment that you can bring to the table. So your healing process can bring you back into life stronger in what love means, provided that you allow God to bring the upgrade in your life. And I believe what God is doing is He's upgrading us from living as spiritual slaves to living as sons. You see, spiritual slaves are dictated by their environments. Whatever happened to them, whatever situations they're in, whatever environments they were put under, they are victims of that. And until those environments change, until those people change, you can't function, you can't grow. God is upgrading the identity. He says, no. I want to upgrade who you are as sons and daughters of our living Father who wants to breathe His power so that as Christ lived, so you can live. So Jesus makes this statement in Matthew 5. He talks about how basically the mindset of people is what we live in today. You know, bless those who bless you, love those who love you. That's the easy road. And Jesus says, I want to upgrade your posture. The first thing He says is bless those who curse you. And what He's speaking of is He's speaking of curse, a wish, someone wishing doom upon you. With their words, with their mindset, with their action, whatever, it's wishing negative, evil, bad future for you. And that's a high level of abuse. It's a high level of somebody coming against you. Jesus says the posture that you need to grow into is that of blessing, which says, I wish nothing but good for that person. Now, just that statement there brings a call into your life to see people, even the worst of people, with a higher lens than what you often see them with. Because it's easy to go, you punch me, I'm going to punch you back. You do wrong to me. You know, the Christian way is you do wrong to me, I won't do wrong back. I'll just kind of be happy if wrong happens to you. So we don't just deliberately push you in front of a bus. We just kind of trip you and hope that maybe if you do fall under a bus, that something happens, we feel relieved. And let's just get honest. And what Jesus is saying is your posture needs to be that of, I wish you no harm. Now that takes forgiveness. It takes processing. It says, God, give me a perspective for that person. You see, that takes work. And today, a lot of Christianity doesn't want to do the work. We don't want to do the work of the process of allowing God to heal so that the ultimate place you get to is, I wish you no harm, and I truly, from my heart, wish the best from you. Doesn't mean we need to be best friends. Doesn't mean I need to hang out with you. Doesn't mean I need to be around your abusive ways. But truly in my heart, I want nothing but the best. Secondly, Jesus says, do good to those who hate you. Now, hatred can be in all kinds of forms. It can be deliberate attacks. It can be accusation. It can be where people withdraw love from you, or they leave you hanging when they needed you the most. And his response is, do good to them. So that means in your words, speak well of them. In your posture, in your heart, have a heart that seeks to honor who they are as God's creation. I remember a story when I was doing business with a place that I was renting some facilities from for church services, for meetings, for offices, and things like that. And I remember every time I would come to the counter and we would do an exchange, there was just this hostility, this aggravation that they would have. It's like they were just annoyed with me. And at first I was like, what's the deal with that? I mean, come on. Then as I began to think about it, I'm praying through it, and God began to speak in my heart about this, because my typical response, like you, is not always just being loving. Everything's fine. Everything's great. My response is like, what's your problem? And as I began to let God deal with it, I began to understand there was a spiritual resistance of who Christ is inside of me that was rising up in those exchanges, in those moments. And so God began to speak to me about, Mark, respond with love. Pour love into that person's life. So I changed my posture. And every time I came up to them and did business or exchange with them, I would put a smile on my face. I would show love and be kind in my words and not respond with the same kind of irritation. And over time, I saw the Holy Spirit literally use the power of love to love the hell right out of them. Literally begin to take that disdain and that posture they had and begin to create a balm of healing and nurture. And what I came to find out over time was that they had carried some hurt and some pain and some irritation regarding past people they'd worked with who had been in quote unquote ministry, or who had had a church and didn't pay their bills, or treated them as the employees with a lot of disrespect, but yet wanted a lot of respect. And it left a bad taste in their mouth. And I realized they were projecting that on me. You see, when you carry a heart that says, I want to do good towards, I want to respond good, over time, you'll get a heart of what's really going on. Maybe not all the time, but you'll get a picture that people really are just responding from a place of brokenness. And it actually became one of the great relationships I had in a business arena. And it just shows the power of what love can bring to the table. Love is not a pushover. Love is not just ignoring the facts or ignoring what's going on. It engages the higher power of who God is to create an authority over a situation that doesn't take you out into spiritual slavery, puts you into the power of who you are in sonship. Third thing Jesus says is pray for those who spitefully use you. And if you look that word up, that word use means, it even speaks of to revile, which is a really nasty word, because revile means someone who is criticizing you or coming across to you in an abusive way. I've been doing a lot of work and talking about healing from spiritual abuse. They come across in an angrily insulting manner towards you. Jesus says, pray for them. Now, I believe these three scenarios are talking about three kinds of people. Now, some of them have aspects of all three, but there's three kinds of difficult people that you need to develop three powerful ways of responding. And this third one, Jesus says, pray for them. Pray for the person who's been abusive towards you. Pray for the person who's criticized you, reviled you, written an accusatory thing about you online, or said something about you that was even false, and they didn't have the gumption or the courage to talk with you in person, or they betrayed you. Pray for them. And the reason being is you can't effectively pray for someone unless you have a heart of compassion. Now, you can pray and go through the motions, that's the way to start. But you have to have a heart of compassion in order to really pray for someone. And a prayerful mindset keeps in mind that person's brokenness. And it reminds you of the broken places of where they're coming from that caused them to come out of that nasty heart towards you. Come out of that broken place that harmed you. That's why Jesus on the cross was able to say, Father, forgive them. They don't even know what they're doing. That's the ultimate place of prayer, is you recognize this person doesn't really know what their deep heart damage is doing to other people. And it gives you a place of compassion. Now, after this is all said, Jesus says, so that you may be sons of my Father in heaven. You see, that's what God's doing in these days. He's upgrading your life from spiritual slavery to spiritual sonship, so that what comes against you, yes, it may derail you. It may take you out for a season where you're struggling and you got some healing to go through. We all have that. But what's the upgraded level of posture? Again, doesn't mean you're going to be best friends with everybody. Doesn't mean you're going to have those people in your inner circle space, but your posture. It's all about your posture towards them. What's your heart? When you think about them, what's your heart response? Is it, I want to have a heart of blessing. I want to have a heart that says I want good towards them. I want to speak good towards them, do good towards them when I have the chance, and I want to pray for them. That's the ultimate upgraded place where love is having its perfected work. In your life, you're no longer a victim. You're an overcomer. I hope this helps you and encourages you. Feel free to send more questions, and I love having dialogue on these subjects. God bless you.